For the most part, every NBA team, even if they want to win now, has young players or rising stars to help build toward their future. And it's their job to make sure that these guys live up to their true potential so that they do have a future. And so today we're going to be ranking the best rising star from each NBA team. Now the rules for this video is that to be considered a rising star, they must be 25 years old or under, and what determines where these guys ranked is based partly off of how good they're playing right now, but an even bigger part is based off of how much potential they have once they're in their primes. So keep that in mind. And with that being said, let's get started with number 30. The Thunder with, it could be Terrence Ferguson, Nerlens Noel, or Diallo, but it's just too soon to tell at this point. None of these guys have looked great yet, but things could change. 29. The Pistons with Thon Maker. Can we just take a minute to think back to all the hype that Thon had coming into the league from mixtapes like these? And with Kevin Garnett even going as far as saying that he's a future league MVP. He's still young, but personally at this point, I don't think the man's game's ever gonna really develop as much as most people thought. Plus, he's probably really like 30 years old right now, so he should be happy he made this list at all. 28. The Warriors with Jordan Bell. Just because he was really the only choice of a young player on this team. 27. The Hornets with Malik Monk. Malik looked like a future star at Kentucky, but not as much since joining the league, especially since he only spent 1 year in college and came into the league at 19. He's definitely shown that he has good potential, but right now it's way too early to tell if he's gonna ever develop into more than just a solid player in the NBA. 26. The Spurs with DeJounte Murray. Murray made the all-defensive second team last year while only playing an average of 21 minutes a game. Now all he's gotta do is develop his offensive game to go along with that, and hopefully he can become just as good on that end. 25. The Magic with Mo Bamba. This one was really a toss-up between Aaron Gordon, who even though he's the best young player on this team right now, I don't know if he's got the potential to ever really break out. Markelle Fultz, who may never fully recover, and then Mo Bamba, who's got the size and athleticism to be great. He just needs the opportunity, so this one's based mostly off potential. Bamba might not ever live up to the hype, but we're giving him Orlando's spot. 24. The Wizards with Bobby Portis. Now this spot really almost went to Jabari Parker, who's stayed healthy and been playing good recently. But up to this point in his young career, he's already had a lot of ups and downs. And I think it's still pretty safe to say that up until this point, he's still underperformed. While on the other hand, Porter's been beating up the competition and his teammates. But seriously, Porter has been great so far, and has definitely been getting better every year. If the man can stay out of trouble, he's got a bright upside. 23. The Rockets with Clint Capella. In his 5th year in the league, Capella's having his best statistical season, averaging 16 and 12 on 64% shooting. The man would rank higher, but he benefits so much from CP3 and James Harden, I don't know how good he'd actually be without them. 22. The Blazers with Jusuf Nurkic. It's a shame that Nurkic got injured, because he's been having a great season, putting up 15 and 10, and he's easily been Portland's best rising star for the past couple of years. But while I think he's still got a ton of room to develop, I can't ever see him turning into a real dominant center or anything, which is why he ranks here. 21. The Grizzlies with Jaren Jackson Jr. Triple J's come out this year as a rookie and has really made a name for himself. And he's got all the tools to be a top power forward one day. Now we just gotta wait and see if it actually happens. Number 20, the Knicks with Dennis Smith Jr. The Knicks have got a lot of young talent, some of which have been but there's still high hopes for a guy like Dennis Smith. He's got the athleticism part covered, and he's got a great foundation that he's working with, but now he just needs to work on getting his game up to that same level. 19. The Clippers with Montrezl Harrell. This was a tough one between Montrez and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but I gave it to Harrell because while Alexander's games looked great so far, we've seen a lot of 6'6" point guards where there's been high hopes and they just turned into letdowns. So from this point, it can really go either way for the rookie. But we know for a fact that Harrell's been great this year, putting up 16 and 6. And sure, he's undersized, but so is a guy like Julius Randle, and we've seen just how good he's been this year. And I really wouldn't be surprised if Montrez comes out doing something similar to Randle next year if he gets more minutes. Number 18, the Heat with Josh Richardson. Richardson started the season out hot, but has slowed down a bit since then. He has still come out and shown the potential that he really has though. And while some might have expected this spot to go to Justice Winslow, I think he's got a little more to prove before he can earn a spot like this. But Josh Richardson has shown that he's got the ability to defend at a high level, and that he's got the ability to score 30 on any given night. 17, the Cavs with Collin Sexton. I don't know that I could see Sexton as a future star, but with how he's exceeded expectations so much this year, you really never know. But if he does want to get to that level one day, he may want a better teacher than Brandon Knight. Number 16, the Pacers with Miles Turner. Turner easily takes this Pacer spot as the best player under 25. And with how much his defense as a whole develops every year, I don't see him winning Defensive Player this year, but it'd be no surprise for him to win the award pretty soon down the line. We just gotta wait and hope that his offensive game will finally develop. If it can though, he'll easily be considered as one of the top few centers in the league. 15, the Raptors with Pascal Siakam. He's without a doubt my pick for the Most Improved Player award, because this year Siakam's transformed into a completely different player. Last year he was just an average player off the bench, but he put in the work this offseason, and in his third year in the league he's come out more confident and turned into the Raptors' energy guy that really does a little bit of everything on the court. And he's been one of the league's top team's second leading scorer all year long. At only 24, I really think Siakam's barely tapped into the real potential that he has. 14, the Lakers with, I really don't know. I mean, Kuzma is clearly the best right now, Brandon Ingram has shown that he has potential for a breakout season, and Lonzo hasn't done that or begin to live up to the hype. But people keep saying that in maybe 4 or 5 years, he could really be the best of the three. So this is the spot I'll rank the Lakers, but I'll leave it up to you guys to pick who's got the most potential for the future. 13, the Pelicans with Julius Randle. Randle doesn't have any competition for this Pelican spot. He's improved by a great amount every year and is already putting up 21 and 8. And I think those numbers are going to go up even more next season when Anthony Davis is gone and he's hopefully moved into a full-time starting role. And if he can keep this momentum going, he'll definitely be an all-star in no time. Number 12, the Celtics with Jason Tatum. The Celtics have the most young talent on their team, and for now Tatum's still got the most potential. Now while his game didn't take a huge leap this year, and he's lost some people's respect, I think he's a guy that'll really take that leap in his 4th or 5th year in the league. And the sky's the limit for how good he can really be. But if he doesn't step things up in a major way by then, he might not ever. 11, the Bulls with Zach LaVine. I think Lauri Markkanen has nearly as much potential as Zach does, but for now we're giving LaVine this spot. And some people might think ranking him at 11 is too high, but personally I've always really had high hopes for the guy. And he was living up to that hype this season when he started out the year putting up nearly 29 points a game for the Bulls. And I think that one day down the line, he really could keep that pace going for an entire season. And that would be great, but only if it helps the Bulls to more than a 20-win season. Number 10, the Kings with De'Aaron Fox. Marvin Bagley was the runner-up for the spot, but for how good De'Aaron Fox has been, giving him the spot for the Kings right now was no question. Because in only his 2nd year in the league, he's really come out as the leader for the Kings, and has been a completely different player than he was last year. And if he can keep elevating his game at this rate, given the fact that he doesn't really have too many weaknesses in his game, he can definitely become a star within the next couple of years. Number 9, the Hawks with Trae Young. With the fact that Trae Young's been on fire for the second half of this year, he's really brought back a lot of the debate for who the real Rookie of the Year is. But I still got Trae as the runner-up. The man is putting up 19 and 8 on the year though, and if he's this good as a rookie, I don't think he'll ever live up to those Steph Curry comparisons, but they might not be as far off as everyone including myself thought. And he ranks this high and maybe should have even been ranked higher for his potential based on what we've seen so far. Number 8, the Suns with Devin Booker. To me, Booker and his potential beat out DeAndre Ayton for the Suns spot for now. And I might catch heat for not ranking Devin Booker any higher, and I'm okay with that. Because sure, for the last 2 years, he's been one of the best scorers in the league at only 22 years old. But that's all we've seen from him. I've said it before, it's easy to be a good scorer on a bad team. But I want to see just how good he can be on a winning team, or if he can ever lead the Suns team to a winning season before I rank him any higher. 7, the Nets with D'Angelo Russell. The Brooklyn Nets are filled with great young stars, but right now D'Angelo's definitely proven to be the best of them. It took him a few slow years to break out, but now that he actually has, it's shown signs of how good he can really be. And the Lakers giving up on him and trading him so soon had to have been what put that fire under him. And who knows, if all that never happened, maybe he wouldn't have ever broken out. But it's exciting, especially for Brooklyn, to see how good this man really becomes. Number 6, the Jazz with Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell's proven that he's great in the regular season, great in the playoffs, that he didn't just have a fluke rookie year, and that he has a skill set and work ethic to keep getting better every season. And it really wouldn't be surprising to see him putting up 26 or 27 points a game one day down the line. All the skills there, he just needs to stay consistent and improve his weaknesses. And even though he still hasn't been an all-star, he ranks higher than a guy like D'Angelo Russell because he's led his team to a better record in the tougher Western Conference, and due to the fact that I think Donovan has a higher ceiling on how good he can become. Number 5, the Nuggets with Nikola Jokic. He does a little bit of everything for Denver, and he's already putting up 20, 11, and 7 as a guy that's not really a ball-dominant center. I just don't know if I can see his game statistic-wise taking too much more of a monster leap to make it that much better than it already is, unless he becomes a lot more aggressive on offense. But hey, if he can keep helping his team to wins, he doesn't need to change his game up at all. Number 4, the Timberwolves with Karl Anthony Towns. I had to put Towns over Jokic because of his personal potential. Jokic could always end up getting more wins than Towns, but I can see Karl becoming a guy that puts up 27 or 28 and 12 one day. All the tools are there on both ends of the court, and he's still only 23. Number 3, the Mavs with Luka Doncic. This spot could have, and some people might have expected it to go to Porzingis, but we're giving it to Doncic based on his performance this year and his potential for the future. And I mean, he ranks this high because this year he's had everyone talking about the fact that he really has the potential to be the next face of the NBA in a few years. And in his first year, he's doing a great job of heading down that path. We really might be ranking him a little too high here, but with how much he's been hyped up, we can't ignore it. Number 2, the 76ers with Joel Embiid. Just when people started to say that centers were dying out, Embiid comes along and has quickly turned into the most dominant center we've seen since the Orlando Magic Dwight Howard. And Embiid does it all for his team, which really wouldn't be surprising if we see him come out and put up 30 and 10 a night in the next couple of years. Number 1, the Bucks with Giannis. The fact that Giannis is still 24 years old is a cheat code in life. The man is really this generation's Shaq, and he's one of, if not the hardest workers in the league today. I mean, at times he really does be looking like a real-life monster on the court. He's 6'11", weighs 240 pounds, and has been a real MVP candidate all year long. Plus, the man puts on more muscle and puts up better stats every single season, which really makes it scary to think about just how good he can be in his prime. And that's gonna wrap up the video. So definitely comment down below and leave your thoughts on anyone you think should have been ranked lower or higher. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next video.